Hello everyone. Hope you are doing good. Welcome to SN Classroom. Today we are going to learn rim and face method using a brass strip. In the last video, we have discussed how best we can do a rough alignment using a brass strip as close as possible towards a target alignment. And we also suggested after doing a rough alignment, we can go for a dial gauge or even a laser alignment. Now, we can, as said, we can go for a dial gauge, or how about trying the brass strip itself to do a precise alignment, wherein we could be using a rim and face method. In rim and face method, we use dial gauge. Instead dial gauge, we use this brass strip and try to explore how we can do a rim and face method using this brass strip. In rim and face method, we are going to first treat the angular misalignment. After making the faces parallel, see, this represents two flanges. The flanges may be wider at the top or wider at the bottom. The first step is to remove this angular misalignment. This is called angular misalignment. This is called, the shafts are not parallel. This is called parallel misalignment. See, it is called parallel misalignment. Now, we are going to treat the angular misalignment. We are going to assess whether it is wider at the top or wider at the bottom. This is a plastic model piece. We will go to the real one. Now we are coming closer to precise alignment. An important decision now we have to make. Are we going to rotate one shaft or both the shafts? If hub is concentric with the shaft, you don't need to rotate the hub of the driven equipment. You can take the alignment reading by rotating one shaft. But if the hub of the driven shaft is not concentric, it is eccentric, then we have to rotate both the shafts. Now we are going to check whether there is an eccentricity or it is concentric. So I keep this touching at the top and going to rotate it to 180 degree. See, now there is a clear gap. .6 millimeter feeler is going freely. That means a gap of 24 thou or more is existing over here. It's eccentric by 12 thou. 24, that's exhibiting here as 24 thou. So it clearly says that whenever we are taking the reading, we have to rotate them together. Thereby, we are eliminating the eccentricity. We will clearly discuss in another session why we need to rotate both the shafts if there is an eccentric. Now, hereafter, for checking everything, we are going to rotate both the shafts. Fine. Let's first do how does the faces are parallel. If they are not parallel, we will make them parallel. That means we will be eliminating the angular misalignment. Now we are going to check whether there is a face out. That means if the faces are parallel, all there is a angular misalignment. I am touching the top corner of the face and going to rotate both the shafts together. I am seeing the brass tip is encroaching into the groove of the hub, meaning that it could be narrow at the bottom, wider at the top. Okay. We will set at the bottom and then roll it over 180 degree to the top to check whether there is a gap at the top. Now I have arranged it in such a way the tip of the brass strip touches the hub at the bottom face of the hub, rotating it all the way up through 180 degree. I am witnessing a gap here. I am measuring this gap using a taper gauge. It's around 3 millimeter gap over there on the top. The gap indication at the top informs that the hubs are wider at the top and they are narrow at the bottom. It explains the situation like this. It is wider at the top and narrow at the bottom. I am exaggerating the situation, but this is the case. Wider at the top. So to correct this, we have to tilt this way. It is wider at the top, we have to tilt it this way so that they will be parallel. See? Now they are parallel. That motor has to be tilted this way. This has to come down, this has to go up. Either one. Either you can remove the shim at the front foot and make the motor to kneel down, or add shim at the back foot here, at the back foot, and this end raise it. By doing any one of these, we can tilt this motor. We saw 3 millimeter gap here. and we are going to add shim at the back foot because I feel that is convenient. To add shim at the back foot is convenient than to remove shim at the front foot. While I am adding the shim, I am planning to add in steps. Here there is a gap of 3 millimeter, so I will add 1.5 millimeter at the back foot and see how much it is getting reduced. We plan to add 1.5 millimeter shim at the back foot of the motor. To rise it, I ensure that the front bolts are loose enough to accommodate the tilt. Just loosen it, hand tight it. And back bolt, loosen it by rotating one complete rotation. That means it can come up easily. I suggest now to lift it there, we can use a wedge, plastic or wood, a wedge like this. We are going to drive it at the back . 1.5 millimeter. Yes, 1 millimeter, a little more. Yes. This foot and this foot, using a wedge, we are able to rise by 1.5 millimeter. Now I can witness the gap has come down. Let me ensure whether it has come down to half of what it was existing before. Earlier it was 3 millimeter. Yes, it's around 1.5 millimeter. Now the gap is 1.5 millimeter. You rotate both and see. Yes, 1.5 millimeter. Now with this condition, with the temporary lifting, we are able to achieve both the hubs being parallel. I now have to add 1.5 millimeter shim on the back foot and another 1.5 millimeter shim on the other foot of the back side. Thereby I expect after tightening they still maintain the parallelism. After adding 1.5 millimeter at the back foot, we will tighten all the 4 feet. all 4 bolts are tightened firmly, we will recheck for the face out. Touching at the bottom, rolling all the way to the top through 180 degree and touching at the top also. Now the face out or the angular misalignment is being taken care of. We will move to parallel misalignment. I just reshaped the brass shim such that we can conveniently measure the radial out, that is, the tip of the brass is touching the rim of the hub, this hub. We are going to rotate, now it is just touching, we are going to rotate them together through 180 degree all the way to 6 o'clock position. Here I will measure the gap. Nearly 1.4, 1.6 millimeter. The gap here is 1.4, say 1.5 millimeter. That means these two shafts are parallel. The scenario is now like that. Two shafts are parallel, but we are witnessing a gap here. That means it is like that. I am exaggerating it. It is like that. It is TIR, total indicated reading, as in dial indicator. The TIR is 1.4 millimeter. That means the offset, we have to raise the motor by 0.7 millimeter up. That means 0.7 millimeter, hold it here, 0.7 millimeter here, 0.7 millimeter here, together it is 1.4 millimeter. I raise this motor parallelly by 0.7 millimeter up, so that now they will be parallel. So we have to add shim, 0.7 millimeter shim equally at all the 4 foot, and expect that it will parallelly come up and then this gap will vanish and this shaft and this shaft will be collinear. We will add up and see. Now I have 4 sets of shims. Each set measuring about 0.7 millimeter, 0.5 millimeter and 0.2 millimeter. Well, 20 thou, 8 thou. So like that I have 4. 2 here and 2 sets here. I'm going to add and check how does that make the change. After fixing 0.7 equivalent shims at all the 4 foot, and then tightening the holding down bolt, we are going to watch the rim reading. The top we are fixing it, it is touching. Yes, 180 degree. Bottom also it is just touching, meaning that all around is just touching without any rub or without any gap. It is concentrically equal, meaning that both the shafts are collinear now. It doesn't have the face out, that is angular misalignment, and now we have cleared the radial runout. That means the rims are also, the shafts are also parallel. With this we have achieved the best possible correction just using a tiny brush strip. It did a wonderful job. Yes, you heard it, that it did a wonderful job. You can use a dial indicator in this position now and verify how best we could do with the brush strip itself. If you develop an expertise, you will only confirm with this method. You will not be requiring a dial indicator at all. Good. I have suggested a simple alignment method using a brass strip, and wish you all good luck in achieving the best possible alignment in your equipment. Thank you. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon. If you like this video and want more videos like this, give a thumbs up and leave your comment below.